Hello ladies and gents, it's Hagbard Celine here with another video. This one was ostensibly supposed to be about feminism and homosexuality via the title, however it takes several unexpected turns immediately out of the gate, so prepare yourselves. After all the heavy shit in the last video, I decided to go old school internet crazy for this one, a la Pacific Ocean Liner and James Jackson, who is of course the best martial artist in the world being kept down by gassing from the government. Instead, today, we have Kareem Wali, or I'm sorry, it must be Saint Kareem Wali. Really. Roll the video, fuck up.
So, you guys, I just had an occurrence.
An occurrence? This sounds super serious. Go on, sir, please.
And revelation from God about this election, about Beyonce, about the times we're living in.
Okay, God talked to you about Beyonce. That's... Okay, now I absolutely have to hear this, but I don't mean to sound racist, but literally all I can see in this shot is your eyes and your teeth. Could you just move the camera to some better lighting?
About everything. Like, God just gave me adequate and sufficient knowledge about the times we're living in.
Yes, thank you, that's much better. Now go on with what you were saying about this knowledge about Beyonce that God handed down to you.
And basically, I want to talk to you guys because, okay, what's going on right now with this election? I'm going to tell y'all who's the most likely candidate to win.
Yes, Saint, tell me what God told you.
The most likely candidate to win is Hillary Clinton.
Technically, one doesn't need God to give you that well-known fact, but go on. I'm sure you have sound political reasons to back your ideas up, right?
And the reason being is because of the spirits that are at work right now. I have much knowledge of the spiritual realm. I am awake in the spiritual realm.
Well, O awakened shaman, please describe to us the knowledge that the spirit realm has given you. For the record, you don't sound like an unmedicated schizophrenic at all right now. Not in the slightest.
And what's going on right now in the spiritual realm is this. The spirit of feminism, the spirit of homosexuality, the spirit of unity, the spirit of deception. All these spirits are at work right now, and they are really taking play.
You know, I feel like we've heard this before from James Jackson, but aside from all that, did he just say that the spirit of unity and deception were at play? That's an unusual combination of quote-unquote spiritual powers.
Today, and I want to explain why I said that Hillary Clinton is the most likely candidate. Okay, as you guys well know, Beyonce is a very vicious, I would say, feminism woman, a woman about feminism. She has an all-female band, all-female, now all-female dancers as well.
I really do find it wildly entertaining that the leader or the figurehead or at least the center of modern feminism has somehow come to revolve around Beyonce. I mean, really, Beyonce. Just a woman that dances and sings in a mediocre manner. That's our feminist power? Like, why would you not choose someone in an actual position of power and not just a pop star? But, okay, go on, this power-wielding Beyonce.
You know, she just has this whole feminine, female purpose, you know, that's about feminism.
To be fair, you, sir, appear to have a feminine female purpose, but I may be getting ahead of myself here.
Now, if you guys don't know, but the homosexual spirit and the feminism spirit go hand in hand. How so? Because if you look around, you will see males dressing like females, like Jaden Smith, Will Smith's son. You will see males taking on a spirit of feminism, acting feminine, and being more feminine. They're wearing the clothes that even guys wear now are more feminine. They're form fitting. They show a guy's form. Showing your form fitting clothes shows your features. It shows your features or enhances your features. Sometimes the features that you have, it enhances them. Now, what guy needs his features enhanced, through his clothes?
I'm somewhat disquieted to think that this man means by the word features, genitalia, and that perhaps he's a bit too fixated on male genitalia being at least remotely visible as a bulge through jeans. Secondarily, let's clarify something. Form-fitting clothes for men is not a new concept, as these ads should show. I think these things just unduly distract him, and the reasons for that shall be covered in just a moment.
Butt or penis. What you don't need enhanced for what? That's another spirit that creates a spirit of lust. So that's another spirit at work here. There's a lot of spirits at work here.
Now, in theory, the way this guy talks, he's a Christian. However, in the way he describes the spirit world, you'd have to argue he's at least a polytheist, right?
And they're working together. It's spiritual first, and whatever happens in the spiritual spills over into the natural. There is spiritual warfare going on right now in the spirit, and soon there will be warfare in the natural. Whatever happens in the spiritual dictates what happens in the natural.
He has a very interesting, basic Zoroastrian sense of spiritual struggle here. It's interesting. It doesn't quite fit his erstwhile mentioned spiritual beliefs, but it is interesting to observe, is it not?
So soon there will be a lot of different and it's already started. If you guys haven't noticed, there are things that's going on. The Bible calls it the beginning of sorrows. There are things going on in the world that haven't never went on before or haven't went on for years until in ancient times. And we're as you guys know, history repeats itself. We're on the verge of a major repeat.
This is basically the argument that every out there spiritual person has made since pretty much the advent and rise of Napoleon. Ever since that moment, there have been people saying, look, this is what the Bible said was going to happen. This is the beginning of the end, you see? And never has the Lord come back. There's never been the finishing point that supposedly occurs in Revelations. Thus far, all we've gotten is people going, well, apparently that wasn't it, or this didn't happen, so it didn't happen, or just excuses as to why the end times didn't actually occur. What you're doing is just the same thing that every other person in your situation has done. That's the danger of the Bible.
History does repeat itself, and we're on the verge of a major repeat. And what's happening, like I said, is these spirits are really, they are working.
Stop moving us. I'm gonna get sick.
People of God, we gotta be on it. We gotta be on it because they trying to get us too. We the main ones they trying to get because we people of God. Hold on, just one moment, y'all. Hope y'all can see me better.
Yes, go on with your classic Christian persecution complex. Why did the Abrahamic religions hand it down? It's just so mentally unhelpful.
We the main ones they're looking to get because we are people of God. I'm a delivered homosexual myself. I'm a delivered homosexual.
As I said earlier, his obsession with the male bulge is a evil spirit in his eyes that is trying to possess his good Christian soul. So, of course, this is coming from a healthy place.
Now, but these spirits first, let me say something about these spirits, especially the spirit of homosexuality.
Please, good sir, enlighten us, as I am sure that you have a lot of experience with the spirit of homosexuality.
Especially in this day and age. Let me tell you something. If you are homosexual or you are a former homosexual, if you're an adamant churchgoer, a person who's really serious about God, the devil is after you. Whatever sins you've done in the past, whatever held you bound in the past, I'm going to tell you this right now, it's after you again. Because...
And it's this kind of thinking that reveals what is so goddamned damaging about dogma. These people think their old sins are coming back to haunt them. This person right here believes he's a reformed homosexual. I'd say it will be interesting to see what goes on in the next 10 or 15 years of his life, but I don't think that's ever how this has worked.
These spirits, some of us want to let them go, or we have let them go, but they don't want to let go of us. That's why the Bible calls them a stronghold, because they hold strongly to the person they were once that was once bound by it. Now, I was once bound by the spirit of homosexuality, so I understand what goes on when you're in homosexuality. And the thing about these spirits do not want to let you go, even though you may want to let them go.
I think what he's really saying here is that he has yet to have the spirit of homosexuality let him go, in spite of the fact that he wants to let go of the spirit of homosexuality. So in other terms, the spirit of homosexuality just can't quit him.
A lot of y'all don't know, when you begin to say no to sin, sin doesn't say no to you, even when you begin to say no to it. And there's just a lot going on in the spiritual world, you guys. And I want to try to really get the gist of. I'm trying to adjust this where y'all can see me. I want to try to get the gist. We are living in some very perilous times, right? I mean, there are birds falling out the sky. There are earthquakes and tsunamis and floods and all kinds of things happening. There are lights in the skies. There are all kinds of signs and stuff, wonders being played out before our eyes. Many of y'all not even taking the time to pay attention, but there are many signs and wonders that are taking place.
I'm not sure that I would put myself in the camp of someone that considers natural disasters to be wonders, but I kinda see what you're saying. However, it's discounting the fact that all of these things have pretty much been going on throughout human history, and again, like the warfare going on, it's constantly pointed to by Bible thumpers as a sign of the end times. Heard this fucking story before, crazy. Go on.
And right now, some of y'all not looking at it, but guess what? In a little bit, it's going to be to the point. It's going to be to the point where you can't avoid it. But that's why you should be preparing now and edifying yourself up in your greatest faith, because we're approaching a time where you're going to need God. If you don't have God, that's going to be the only thing that keeps calamity from befalling you.
How exactly does God send an earthquake or tornadoes to a country like America that's a large percentage of believers and only kill the non-believers? I don't think you understand how natural disasters work.
But anyways, back to the feminism spirit. Hillary Clinton may very well be the next president because she's under the feminist spirit is working in her and over her and through her, just like it is through Beyonce. The feminist spirit empowers the homosexual spirit.
By your logic, the homosexual spirit, as you phrase it, is a parasite on the quote-unquote feminist spirit, whereas an observable fact, as I've seen in real life, the feminist spirit of the movement of feminism, if you will, using the same phrasing with a different meaning, is actually feeding on the struggles of homosexuals in many different cultures, including some of the areas of our own. However, I think you have that backwards.
Why do you think Beyonce, and I love Tajik Hall. Tajik Hall is a very talented young man. I don't take that away from him because his talent was given to him by God. And I don't take away the boy's talent. The boy is talented, but he is in the homosexual lifestyle.
I have no idea who the fuck he's talking about, and frankly, when it comes to this particular video, I just can't bring myself to care enough to research it.
And Satan's going to use that, just like he's using Jaden Smith right now. I don't know if most of y'all noticed, but if any homosexuals are watching this, I don't know if you've noticed, but when you first went into the game, you weren't like you are now. Most of y'all were more masculine. Most of y'all was much more, certain things that you said you wouldn't do, now you're doing. You find yourself doing it. Some of y'all say y'all never be like, oh girl, oh child, oh please, oh honey, but you're saying it now. You know why? Because that spirit is a spirit of confusion. It seeks to confuse you and make you think that you're something that you're not.
I have a gay friend that does that sarcastically. However, if you were to walk up to him and say he wasn't masculine, I would bet even money he would kick the shit out of you. He might kick the shit out of me if I were to give him that level of shit. Because not all gay men are effeminate. I also know gay men that do talk like that. However, it doesn't take away from their masculinity. That's your issue. Just because you are still giving off the classical, stereotype of a homosexual doesn't mean all gay men behave that way. Fucking Todd Glass the comedian is homosexual, and apparently has been his whole life, so please explain to me where all the effeminate spirit of that came into him.
That spirit wants to conform you to the image of a female. It wants you to, and it wants you to say that we're all unified, we're all one. There's no male or female, there's no such thing, there's no gender, but there's no he and she, because we're all the same, we're under unity. That's where the spirit of unity comes in. We're trying to unite everybody in love and make everybody one and the same, but no, there are male and female.
I do ponder what Black Hitler would think about all this. Truly I do. He's not gay, he's same-gender loving, I believe is the way he says it. And I imagine I'd love to see the flame war between you two. When it comes to your gender argument, on the face of it, I agree with you. However, your definitions are skewed. Effeminate gay men that have sex with other men and also work out to an extreme degree are not a rarity. These men are still men. They still grow beards. They are still sexually dimorphic. They can just behave in different manners.
If you're a male, you're a male. You have a penis and you have seed in you. If you're a male, you have seeds.
I believe that in spite of his personal experience with male seed, he probably still considers it in his head a form of actual seeds.
If you're a female, you have a womb or you have eggs. And those eggs must be fertilized by the seed. That's the only way to bring people into the world, is for a seed and an egg to be fertilized.
Congratulations on understanding the reproductive cycle, I suppose.
And like I said, I am a former homosexual, a delivered homosexual. Well, I'm no longer a homosexual. That means I'm delivered from homosexuality.
Just for the record, kid, that's not blatantly apparent to anybody.
So I'm now in God. So I'm not coming to you from a place where you can't understand, because I understand. When I was in the game and I'm still dealing with putting off some of that stuff now, I became more feminine. Most of you guys, you don't realize it, but you become more feminine over time. Over time, especially if you start hanging around the people in the scene, you start going to the clubs, you start hanging around people, you start talking like them, you start absorbing their ways. Pretty soon you find yourself acting just like they are.
Beyond judging it as a sexual lifestyle, it is indeed a subculture to some people who engage in it as a subculture, and all subcultures behave in the manner that you describe here.
The very thing you said you wasn't going to do, you end up doing. Why? Because it's a spiritual thing. It's spiritual. That spirit is working on you while you're around, while you're in the atmosphere, while you're around these people. That spirit, the spirit of homosexuality, is working on you. That's what the Bible says. If you be ye separated, come out from among them. For me to finish going through the change that I'm going through right now, the change that I'm going through, leaving the lifestyle alone. You know what I've done? I haven't been to a club in a year. I don't club no more. I don't go to gay clubs. I don't associate with the same people I used to associate with.
Listen, kid, you being very, very weak-willed and having no personal idea of what a backbone is entirely your issue. Please don't project that on the concept of homosexuality. I know plenty of principled homosexuals. You just apparently weren't one of them. And just for the record, heterosexual club scenes are filthy pits of degeneracy 95% of the time. Club scenes are pits of degeneracy.
Because the spirit that's in them is going to work on the spirit is going to work on your spirit. The spirit that is influencing them is going to work on you to make you feminine. The feminist spirit. And most guys are like, well, I'm too masculine. I'll never be like that. Okay, you already doing something that's not very masculine, because a man does not lie with another man.
I don't know, man. You gotta be pretty fucking tough to take an 8.5-inch dick in the ass. I mean, I wouldn't fucking do it, so the guy out there that does it is pretty fucking manly.
Because and another man does not allow another man to penetrate him because you are a man. The very act of penetration, the person who's being penetrated is a feminine act. It's a feminine act. We females are to be penetrated, not males. So when you allow somebody to penetrate you, you're acting as a female. That's why the Bible says man should not lie with a man as with womankind.
So just non-penetrative homosexual sex? Just mutual masturbation or blowjobs or foot fetishists or fat rolls or, I mean, all that's fine? Just non-penetrative sex? Or, I'm not sure, your lines feel arbitrary and ever-changing, sir. We're gonna skip through this little segment because it's less amusing and more just self-hating and sad, so...
That's a satanic deception, you guys. Wake up! Wake up! Wake up!
Well, I think I just found my new alarm clock ringtone.
That's a satanic deception, you guys. Wake up! Wake up! Wake up!
Yep, that'll do it.
It's a satanic deception. It is satanic. It is satanic. It is spiritual warfare. You're in the middle of a war, baby.
Yeah, that spirit of homosexuality got a tight grip on you, son.
You're in the middle of war. And it's serious. It's serious. Like I said, and this feminist spirit is empowering this homosexual spirit. Why do you think in Beyonce's new video, she says, "Okay, ladies, now let's get information." First of all, she's referring to ladies, but why are guys doing it? She's referring to ladies, and then she has two guys in the video who acting like females and moving their bodies like females do,
which appears to have made you radically uncomfortable for reasons that should be obvious to the audience by now.
You know why? Because that spirit is working. The feminist spirit is working with the homosexual spirit to femininize the men and femininize even women.
Say what?
And femininize even women.
Oh, so you've just completely lost the plot then.
Or defemininize women. Jaden Smith is a prime example because many little boys follow him.
I should like to think that Jaden Smith has significantly less effect on the true population than he seems to think he does.
Now look up to him. He wearing female clothes and got at the top of the female clothing line. It's crazy. Why do you think Beyonce called the queen? Now that's a sermon for another time. I don't want to talk about the Beyonce situation right now. Beyonce, let me tell you something. Beyonce is one of God's chosen ones as well. She's one of God's chosen. But the one thing about being God's chosen, I'm one of God's chosen. You watching this are one of God's chosen. But one thing about being one of God's chosen is this.
Hey guys, apparently we're in a club with this gentleman and Beyonce as one of God's chosen, so apparently we have a lot to look forward to, or maybe he has some beautiful insight to offer us here. Let's hope so.
If God can use it, the devil can use it, and vice versa. So if you're chosen by God, that makes you also chosen by the devil, because the devil knows your mantle. He knows the assignment. When he gets a whiff of the assignment on your life, he seeks to destroy it.
So like the Jews have found out through history, being one of God's chosen is really being chosen to get fucked up repeatedly. Fair enough.
So in order to destroy the assignment of God, he tries to use the same vessel God wants to use to do his will. Because if you are, my God, if you can be used for God very well, then Satan will try to use you very well as well. It's up to you to decide whom you're going to choose to serve. Choose ye this day whom you will serve.
And another random Bible quote just to emphasize his point, but beyond that, shouldn't it really be no contest? Shouldn't God, like, immediately win out? I've never really understood the whole excuse for bad things happening being Satan, because in theory he should have absolutely no power in comparison to the true deity, as he's just a fallen angel, which is a subclass of semi-deity. It's all convoluted and silly, but I'm not sure how that's supposed to work, and people equate the two entirely too often.
You cannot serve two masters. Some of y'all out there trying to serve two masters. Y'all trust and believe me, I used to try to do that all the time.
Your involvement in the BDSM scene is by no means our concern.
All the time. I used to try to serve two masters. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot serve God and mammon. You cannot serve God and the devil. Mammon is you, your flesh. You cannot serve God in your flesh. You cannot serve God and the devil. You will serve one or the other.
Some church group out there has to take responsibility for the levels of damage done to this individual, because they've clearly been damaged by their church.
Because the flesh conceives sin. Sin brings about death, and Satan is Satan, and that is one and the same.
Sin does not bring about death. Time brings about death. If you believe that if you do not sin that you will live forever, then you are a delusional twat who will also not have enjoyed or experienced anything in life.
One and the same. Satan encourages your flesh to do things, and when he encourages your flesh to do, if you do what your flesh tells you to do, then you're going to sin.
Oh, so basically what Satan serves in your mind is to externalize your involvement in the situation. Satan motivated your flesh to suck the fucking skin off of some dicks, huh?
It's one and the same, y'all. This is serious. We're in warfare. And I don't care who says what they want to say about me. Yeah, I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm not playing to be perfect. But what I do tell you is this: when I sin, when I fall, I get up.
Of course. Otherwise, you'd be down there on your knees forever.
I don't stay there, and I don't plan on keep on falling. I don't. But I fall. But I get back up. That's the difference between a saint and a sinner. A sinner is in sin. They stay there, they dwell there, they commit sin over and over and over on a loop. I used to do that before I got delivered. But then when I got tired of this loop, I got tired.
Look, I couldn't help myself. I pretty much had to do this on mute without him actually talking about anything in the background. What exactly do you think this loop is?
I said, you know what? No, God, there's more than this to life. Heal me, deliver me, set me free. And he did just that when I was ready. I didn't do it for my mother. People think I did it for my mama, my pastor. No, I tried doing it for my mama. I tried doing it for my pastor. I tried doing it for other people.
Okay, that's not my edit, and I suppose it falls into the category of the danger of doing these videos on occasion when you haven't actually seen the whole video. So I had no idea. It just kind of ended there, but this was just for shits and giggles anyway. This was just, it came up and I just couldn't not share it with my audience. This person clearly needs some help and support and isn't really getting the type that one would imagine he would require to become emotionally healthy. This is simply repression. It's clear by the way he discusses certain subjects that he's not, if you will, quote-unquote, past being a homosexual. I don't see that one can do that. I've never seen any quote-unquote reformed homosexual remain a quote-unquote reformed homosexual. It simply isn't a thing. I honestly believe it would be like saying you could be a reformed heterosexual. I mean, just all the heterosexuals in my audience, just take a moment and think about that. Just think about if you were living in a homonormative society instead of a heteronormative society, and someone just said, okay, we're just going to get you to love sucking dick. Just pull back the foreskin and work on that little area under the head. That really stimulates. See, it doesn't really work like that, does it? I hope everyone's enjoyed this little pocket of madness that I simply could not ignore. And know that I'll be back on Saturday with something perhaps a bit more serious, and everyone can sink their teeth into, presuming I can find it. That's it for today. I hope you guys had fun, and good luck out there. Goodbye.